Wait, one second, make sure I'm recording. I should be recording now. Okay, hello and welcome back to Fuss. No, this is part... Are we on 4 or 5? I cannot remember. It's been a little while since the last episode. When I mean a little while, well, it's is it the 19th of July now? And the last time we played this was the 28th of June. So it's been a little while, I tell you. I've been keeping it in mind to, do a video, and then, I've been kind of burnt out for a little while, I tell you. I briefly wonder who's in the art room as I proceed along the second lower hallway. Well, less wonder and more hope. Caprice will be there. I've little doubt of that, but I'm starting to enjoy being around Élan. Her paintings are so nice to see, and any time I manage to make her warm to me feels somehow rewarding. Somehow like Caprice smiles all the time, and the moment we sat beside each other in biology lecture, my fate was sealed as she began chatting to me without prompting. Sorry, I tell you, it's very early in the morning. It's 5:27 a.m. now, and I decided, I'm gonna have a long recording time. Not the best, I tell you, for reading games, visual novels. Well, I don't mind that at all. Finding her bubbly attitude uplifting is a little overbearing. There's little about her that she keeps to herself. When Élan gives praise, or even just smiles, it feels genuinely earned. I think that's the difference. Upon reaching the door and opening it, the otherwise empty room is filled with greetings of a certain loud girl sitting at a table with a sketchbook in front of her. She takes a brief break from her work.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Allison.
Hey.
You look cheerful as usual. I'm super ready for today's art club meeting. She pumps her fist as I walk in, earning a sincere, if weary, smile. I feel a little bad for my first reaction upon entering and being disappointed, given her earnest sense of friendship for me. Shrugging it off, I pile my books onto another table and take a couple of pencils from the side of the table, which Caprice has commandeered. I glance at the sketchbook Caprice has been sketching and makes me stop in my tracks. I have to look up at her and back down again just to confirm that this was done by the same person. Her casual doodles were cute, but she has a real talent for the stuff now that I see her more serious work. I've never really questioned how much Caprice has practiced her art. Now that I think of it, I'm left a little chastised for underestimating how much effort she puts into this hobby. Motivated to try a bit harder myself. I take a seat and open one of my notebooks, flop into a mostly empty page and ponder for a moment before setting about sketching a cat. They're always a favourite subject to doodle. I lose track of time as I start to get into it, trying to replicate Caprice's shading from memory. It's only when Caprice pipes up with another greeting that I take a break. Élan strides through the doorway as I look up, giving a quick punctuatory wave, I can never say that word to the both of us. She looks barely awake, but given how tired she always looks, it's hard to say if it's any worse than usual. As we exchange greetings and Caprice gets back to her sketching, Élan's eyes fall on my notebook. Without breaking stride, she turns on the ball of her high boots to take a detour from her easel and peer at my work. Élan's figure looms above as she stands in front of me, fingers pressed to the top of my sketchbook as she looks down. It conjures up feelings I haven't felt since middle school, as if a student's shrinking before her teacher. Haven't done this in a while, have you?
Sorry.
Sorry. Why are you apologizing if you haven't? You haven't. You have the fundamentals right, at least, which only comes with practice. Her fingertip skates back and forth on the paper, pointing out this and that. Musculature looks off, but that's a pain at the best of times for animals. Try to draw from references instead of relying on what your mind thinks something looks like. The way it feels as if it's been lifted from my shoulders is not exactly high praise, but the fact she's willing to give me pointers feels like validation. You like cats? I have one back home. Explains it more. Explains it. More of a dog person myself, really. Ever had one? Would have been nice, but my parents weren't interested in the idea. Sounds like you and your parents don't get along very well.
No.
We don't. The pet thing's nothing to do with it. They wanted me to go into one of their approved careers, and I didn't. Oh, I thought it would be something more complicated. Sometimes things really are as simple as they seem. I'm sure things will work out eventually. That's nice. I opened my mouth to respond, but the tone behind her words makes it clear that she considers this discussion over. There goes cold between us, leaving me at a loss for words as my shoulders slump in defeat. All I meant to do was cheer her up. As she steps over to another table and pulls her coat off, Caprice gleefully fills the awful silence with her bubbly voice. Hey, have you tried doing other stuff as well?
Huh?
What do you mean? You know, other kinds of art. There's oils, watercolour, pottery, fletching. No, like sculpting in there? No one want to sculpt these days? Well, I guess pottery, and it's kind of like sculpting. Same premise. I both paint and do sketch work, so it's not like you need to keep to one thing or another. I can get some pottery stuff if you want. Eileen barely restrains herself from rolling her eyes. By harassing the poor professor into giving you some kiln time and clay.
No.
It's not harassment, it's negotiating. I think I'll be fine for now. Eileen gives one final piece of advice as she turns towards the cupboard, taking advantage of the lull from Caprice focusing her own work. Don't worry about her. Just keep at it. Practice might not make perfect, but it'll get you close. I tell you, I just skipped, my brain decided to skip all the way to the end, missing 2 words. So I had to backtrack, did I miss those 2 words? Yeah, I did miss those 2 words. Why did it not work? Words do not work with me. They decide to not work. It's like the worst, I tell you. It's like the worst. Okay. I'm sure Eileen means well with her efforts at teaching, but it's a vast change to the way I used to draw as a kid, and in high school being a little more than an occasional scribble when a idea struck. Barely having time to put pencil to paper, a clatter at the front of the room draws the attention of both Caprice and I, as Eileen fiddles both of us get up to see what's happening. What's up? Standing at the old wooden cabinet at the front of the room, Eileen gives a couple more sharp tugs at the door with her usual gentleness before turning to Caprice. The door to the cabinet's locked. They never locked it after class. She bounces over to Eileen and takes the handle in her grip, giving it several pulls at various creative angles in case it's jammed. After one last try, hard enough to have her feet slipping on the floor. Could you say that again? I didn't quite catch what you said. As they face off, I take a look at the cabinet between them. It's a type of lock I've tried before, and not particular high-end. Then again, I've never done this with two people peering over my shoulder. So if you look at me, I realize there isn't any backing down now, glancing out the door to make sure there isn't anyone listening in. I continue on. I could maybe try picking it. What? You can do that?
Seriously?
Someone sure has a knack for skills that upstanding people shouldn't have. All I can do in response is wilt. Lean's not exactly wrong, even if I do like to think I only use such things when I should. We don't really have much of an option. Think you can do it? Except in my fate, I get up and hold my hand towards them. I'll need a couple paper clips. Taken to my feet once more, Élan and Caprice look more dubious than impressed. Well, did you get it? A little more confident than Caprice. Her face having been plastered right beside the lock of curiosity as I worked. I take a long breath and reach out to the handle, giving it a timid tug. The relief in the room is palpable as the old door creaks open, relieving shelf upon shelf of supplies. Awesome! Caprice gives a tight hug from behind in appreciation and excitement, leaving me to awkwardly laugh off the praise as Élan starts taking her paints and brushes. As she writes herself, and Caprice detaches herself from me, Élan gives a couple of claps on the shoulder with her free hand. You did good. Where, or maybe I should say why, did you pick up skills like that? I just like learning things. I bet you they watched the lock-picking lawyer. That's what happened, I tell you. Taking a interest in the conversation, Caprice leans back towards us. What kind of things? Other cool stuff like that? Just things, schoolwork wasn't too hard, so instead of studying I ended up teaching myself stuff. Like how to pick locks and tinker with different machines to keep myself occupied. Are you aware of how sketchy that sounds? It's not about doing bad things, they're just puzzles. The point is working them out, not getting freaked out. When I put it that way, I guess is pretty useless to learn. That's pretty funny to be saying right now. Caprice nudges Élan, who just raises a eyebrow. She makes a decent point. Hoping that no staff were around to notice what just happened, I throw the twisted paper clips into the bin before heading to my table, as Caprice takes to hers, and Élan sits herself at her easel. Without further ado, we each set to work. They literally just did the background, that's all they did. It's a nice atmosphere. Nice atmosphere. Nice atmosphere. With the three of us working away at our own little projects. I'm not sure sketching cats in a notebook really counts as much of a project, but having friends around makes it somehow more meaningful. With winter setting in, I find myself settled in for the evening on the couch, watching a movie on the television, a blanket draped over me to try and keep warm. Rose still isn't back from work, and with the garbage taken out and washing up done, it probably won't hurt to take things easy for the rest of the evening. Yeah, I wonder if they took a picture of like a actual, place, I tell you, and then just added details in. Makes me wonder, I tell you. Makes me wonder. A loud ping comes from beside me, my hand automatically reaching for the phone, sitting on the couch in response. Probably Rose saying she'll be late. dooming me to microwave noodles for dinner again. Or perhaps not. I don't recognize the number or user avatar at all. Is this Allison? I briefly consider saying no, but that would mean I barely make out their picture. It's like the fastest pick ever. Briefly consider saying no, but that would mean I can barely make out their picture beyond what I think to be yellow hair. I don't even know any blondes beside Élan and Millie, and the latter is unlikely to be messaging me. Élan? Wallace helped me set this thing up. What's with your profile pic? It took a photo when was setting up. Found it in the apps yet? Haven't tried looking. I don't really get it. I can't help but giggle a little. I'm happy she's making the effort when she made it clear she wasn't interested before. I'll help you with it tomorrow. That would be good, thanks. Sorry if I type slowly, this keyboard is weird. Practice makes perfect. About that. But did say sorry about the parenting. I was too touchy. It's okay. It was really my business. Life doesn't always have a happy ending. Things don't work out, that's that. You still have to try though. People are good. You just have to have faith. At least that's what I think. I don't get you at all. I think that goes both ways.
Uh-huh.
I see. Taken completely unawares, I leap off the couch and spin around, barely keeping a hold of the phone in my hand.
Oh!
When did you get in? Just now, sorry I couldn't help myself. I let out a long breath to steady myself. As my heart slowly returns to its normal pace, Rose just grins churlishly as she walks off to hang up her coat. Probably sitting on like a lover we're texting. That's what parents are always like. I think that goes both ways. Rose back. Get you tomorrow. See you. With that, I tap the side button to lock the phone once more. Put it on the counter beside me. You look happy. All I can do is grimace, my face becoming flushed from embarrassment at her bullying thanks to my cheeks madly hurting. I can tell she isn't wrong. Being it does me good just to see you managing to get yourself a social circle and all. You were worried? Can you blame me? No guys around, no friends, always being so nervous. You've changed a lot. Guess Élan was right, everyone really is there for me. Rose isn't wrong either. I do have friends now, and art clubs starting to become a welcome little slice of familiarity in the campus. Caprice, Wallace, Élan, everyone's really nice to me. Yet as Élan I can't stop thinking about. Behind that cold exterior of hers, there's a genuinely kind person. What's with that face? Nothing. Gonna come eat or play with your phone all day. Remember kids, no smoking. That's the rule around here. You subscribe, no smoking. Bad for the lungs. Literally. Plus, you know, I've noticed with people that smoke for a long time, they throw up a lot more, spit a lot more, because they have that much, you know, saliva that, you know, because of all the tar at the back of the throat, it kind of just dulls the hairs that's supposed to keep any, you know, food or stuff like that down and cleans your throat and all that. With the sun beginning to set, Élan and I say goodbyes to Caprice before heading out into the hallway. Calming Caprice down after she gets a bright idea feels like trying to stifle a shaken soda can after opening it. She might still be brimming with energy, but the two of us leave the art club's room utterly deflated. We should have just joined the normal art club, you know, the one which isn't led by a maniac. Wish I could get the two of them to see eye to eye more often, Priest did say she's doing all this for Elan's sake, as much as her own, and she's far too straightforward to be lying about that. I bet you Caprice is trying to get, Elan and Allison together, get them in a relationship. That's what's going on here, I tell you. It's difficult to push back on Elan, though, given how prideful a person she is. I seem to attract strong-willed friends. She has a lot, she means well, though. Well, maybe. Not so bad if you're around to keep her occupied. For what it's worth, I was actually thinking this might be a fun little adventure. I wanted to thank you for making all of this work out. She makes a exquisitely awkward face caught between my thanking her and the idea of having to share her room with us, and anyone else Caprice manages to rope in from now on. I just smile as we start down the quiet hallway, Elan taking a look out the window. Her gaze lingers for just that little longer than usual. The snow once again having started to fall in outside. Can't blame her, given how pretty it looks. Dang, going to be shoveling snow again, what a pain. She really isn't the sentimental type.
Huh?
Did I say something wrong? I was just thinking you don't seem to have a very romantic view of the world, being an artist. Is there much good about winter? Being back with family, all the pretty snow around, people in cute jackets and coats, holidays. I end up trailing off, Elan hardly looking swayed as I count my favourite things about the seasons on my finger. Holidays are the problem. Everyone's starting to close up or shut down for the new year already. I want to keep practicing instead of loafing around, but the life drawing classes are over and all the students' modelling offers have dried up. I've seen notices for those on the notice board around campus of students and other others, not officers. Words, not my strong suit. Making a little cash on the side by modelling for artists. Though some notice boards have become much more bare over the last month. I feel sorry for her. Sorry about that. Given she takes her painting so seriously. I was so caught up in wanting to be back with my family, I didn't think about how it'd be for her, especially when she doesn't get along with hers. As we walk along the hallway, I realize this might present a chance for me to help Elan and be part of her painting, instead of simply watching her from afar. I'm not completely sure about this, but my obvious scheming has already caught Elan's eye. It'd be helpful, I mean, maybe I could do it. At this, Elan stops and turns to me. I should have not have suggested this. You just need me to stand around and be a model, right? There's not a lot to it. This would be live modeling. I don't want to give you the wrong idea. Amanda does make me hesitate. I know there's nothing sexual about it, but it'd be a standing but close on as she alone looked at me, analysing my whole body. Elan herself doesn't look fussed, though she really does. She seems content to let me come to a conclusion myself as she stands about, but my body language soon gives away what I'm thinking. Sorry if I made you uncomfortable. I can just work on other studies instead. I mean, she did mention herself that she's done this before. Simply be another method to practicing painting for her. Would it be In your apartment or something?
Yeah?
Yeah. She looks mildly surprised I'm still considering this. If it was anyone else, I don't think I could do this. For Eileen, no.
Okay.
It's fine, I'll do it. I love the ginormous bunny. We set down our coats as we enter her apartment, the bright light giving such a different look to her apartment compared to mine. As for Eileen herself, I don't get how she isn't exhausted after a walk like that from school. But try as I might to distract myself, if it feels off, no matter how I try to ignore it. Painting live models is probably totally normal for an artist like Eileen, so I don't bother saying anything as she sets down her coat. Like, you could just do a back painting. It's pretty normal. Look at that painting, pretty normal. What? Want a drink or something? I'm fine, thanks.
Sure.
Suit yourself. I'll grab myself. Just make yourself comfortable. Some nice art around here, I tell you. Reminds me of Michelangelo over here. Is that the artist or is that the, sculpture? I can't remember. She walks off to get her easel and paints as I nod. Without much else to do as she disappears into another room, I idly look around while taking off my own coat and gloves. Her apartment hasn't been cleaned up this time, which is a interesting change beyond the easel, with a finished painting still sitting on it. A few colourful fashion magazines lie on a coffee table near a mug left sitting around. On the couch, a couple of crumpled t-shirts and an old pair of jeans lie strewn around the back and arm. What catches my eye most, however, is the resident who looks very comfortable on the other end of it. I was thinking I walk over and pick him up. A particular large stuffed rabbit, but big enough to need two hands to hold comfortably. Though well made and adorably designed, it's obviously a little well loved by now. I'm sure I'd had noticed such a thing if I were around when Wallace and I came for dinner, so it must have been stuffed into her bedroom or something. As I'm moving out of the corner of my eye, I turn and look up. Eileen simply stares at me, face flat, as she holds a bag of supplies in her hands. Really shouldn't have just gone and started fiddling with her
Sorry.
stuff. Really cute. She puts her bag down and sighs, giving me a bit of relief that she isn't angry. Silently, she strides over and takes the toy from me as I offer it to her. My sister gave it to me to keep me company when I moved out. I'm disappointed by how little emotions in Eileen's voice when she says so, but those thoughts quickly disappear as she gently sets down the rabbit where it had been. She takes care to set it down gently, with a quick brush of its fur. That momentary smile as she steps back and looks at it warms my heart. It only lasts for a second, but her face is unmistakably that of a child, one taking care of their favourite companion. So Eileen does have a cute side to her. I somehow feel a little less wound up about everything. Now she's not that different to me in the end. As she turns away, I remember the task at hand, not at her. So I'll just set up the easel and canvas, then have everything. I'll have everything. Should I take off my clothes off then? She's about to answer before pausing for a moment. Much as I might try to stifle my awkwardness undressing in front of someone else is still weird.
If it's a problem, you can grab a towel. I can make do.
Feeling more than a little sheepish, I glance around. To be sure of my surroundings, the blinds are shut, as they were before, and that blind's not shut. That blind's not shut. That the curtains are open over there. We're basically flashing the whole neighborhood like, you know, look at this, you know, jiggle jiggle. Oh, I'm just joking around. I glance around to be sure the blinds are shut, as they were before, and the door's still locked, so I'm not sure what I expected. Maybe the silence is putting me off. The apartment being set so far back the road, unlike mine. I want to say that I'm fine, but I can't quite get over the stumbling block of being bared in front of someone. Meeting halfway will have to do for now. As Eileen sets her previous painting on the kitchen counter, I pop into the bathroom. My heart's practically in my mouth as I reappear in the room with a towel wrapped around me, precious little being covered, as I take my place before her.
Should I stand like this, or...?
She looks at me for a moment, in serious thought. It's a little interesting how quickly her demeanor changes to that of a painter, carefully considering how best to use my body as an artistic prop.
Try turning around so your back's towards me.
Well, I thought that would be a good idea, you know. I'm thinking in my head, like, you know, she probably has a nice back, you know. You want to paint that back. That's, you know, where the serious gold is, I tell you, probably. My thoughts are in a haze, unable to let go of how exposed I am. All I can do is nod and dutifully do as she says. Yeah, that's good. Keep your head
like that, and maybe let your arms hang down.
Like this?
Yeah, just stay like that.
I give a nod, trying to relax as much as I can. That isn't saying much, though. There's no other sound in the room as she starts to sketching me out. The pencil sharp, scratching, filling the air. It's certainly an odd experience to think somebody's looking at my body so analytically, taking in every detail, considering it, and copying it to canvas. For Eileen's sake, I try to keep as still as possible despite the butterflies in my stomach. Her pencil work apparently finished, the gentle sound of brush strokes starting. As her painting begins in earnest, she's fast at sketching. I suppose she'd have a good bit of practice at this. I can't see much at all, with my head slightly down like this, but at least this position is easy to keep, without anything in particular to focus my eyes on. I can't help but turn my thoughts inwards. How do people do this without getting self-conscious? A lot of effort. Nobody's ever looked at my naked body like this, carefully analyzing every curve and muscle. I wonder how I look to her right now. Am I gross? Compared to Eileen, I probably look plain at best.
Hey, I know it's not easy, but can you try not to tense up so much?
I glance back at Eileen, our eyes meet, and I force myself to face forward again, resuming my pose. Sorry.
It's okay. Not too much longer.
Her expression was so focused and analytic. I sometimes forget that serious artwork can take so much knowledge and logic, as well as creativity. I really am just the art prop for her. That's good, if I remember that this isn't so bad. Eileen's done this plenty of times, but I can trust her. I was the one who offered anyway. The reason I did this was to help her, and now I can finally be a part of her true passion of painting. I feel the corners of my mouth tug a little at the idea. It makes me feel a little special that she's looking at me this way. Oh, she's no doubt done life drawn before. This is something different. Only now I only now do I realize that Eileen's brushstrokes have ceased. Just as I work up the will to question her, Eileen speaks up.
Alright, you can move now.
A weight comes off me as my entire body slumps. A long breath escaping my lips. It feels like my entire body dislates. Thankfully that my duty has been fulfilled. I adjust the towel a little to ensure it doesn't slip off. My first thought is to go to where I carefully place my clothes, but on the way I'm distracted by the sight of it. I'm left speechless. I have to resist the urge to reach out and touch it. This is how Eileen sees me. Not gross nor plain. I feel my heart sting a little as my eyes move across the canvas, seeing through Eileen's eyes how she sees me. As I stand gazing at the painting, I feel a coat come over me, Eileen draping it over my shoulders. I'm about to thank her before the words are stolen from my mouth by her different demeanor. Compared to her intense focus, she's blushing. Focus while painting. Her gaze awkwardly avoids my appreciative expression. All I can do is smile as I clasp the coat tight. The bashful Eileen standing in silence beside me.
Beautiful.
Is this going to be the next chapter? No. The street lights lead us along as we walk along the snow-dusted street. Their pinpricks of light piercing the evening's darkness. Well, sadly that is where we're going to have to end. It looks like this is part 5, actually. Yeah, it is part 5. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this. I don't want this to be too long, so I'm ending it right here. So look forward to part 6. Have a nice day, safe, hope to simple. Here's for just think of the very important. And bye, see you, thanks, and bye, see you, bye bye.